Hi everyone, welcome back to another chart analysis. Every week we look at 5 asset class and present a price projection for the new week. And at the end of this video, we will have a summarized presentation of what we would get. Let's get into it. First, we're going to be looking at the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is currently out of a peak, and our expectation is for price to just come all the way back to that peak or almost to it and then bounce away. Next, we're going to be looking at the US tech, which is also the NASDAQ 100, and we're expecting the same thing that we have actually projected for the S&P 500, for price to basically come almost back to the peak formation and bounce all the way up to the upside. Next, we're going to be looking at the Dow Jones, which is also the US 30. And for the US 30, we are also expecting the same thing as the S&P 500 and the US tech, which is also the NASDAQ 100. We're expecting price to at least pull back at least 50% of its impulsive move up and retrace at least a little bit and go back up and then come down, and we're expecting it to keep going to the upside overall. Next, we're going to be looking at gold. So guys, for next week, gold will not be doing anything much after we had that very impulsive move that price made to the upside, and then it kind of sold off a lot coming down. We're expecting gold to actually go into a range. We don't know how long that range is going to be, but for next week we'll basically be doing nothing on gold. We'll just let the price do its thing, and we're going to wait for that opportunity for us to get back in for the ride to the upside. Next, we're going to be looking at silver. Silver would be actually doing the same thing as gold, but we might expect more downside to silver than upside, but anything is to be expected when it comes to the market. And we have actually added a new asset to our analysis, or what we'll also be involved in, and that is the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 is expected to do the same thing as the S&P 500, the US tech, and the US 30. We're expecting at least a retracement to the peak formation, as you can see here, and at least a little bit of a bounce, and then we can go all the way upside. So this is what we will actually be looking at for the entire week. However, we will not be involved in any of the 5 asset class that I have just presented, which is the S&P 500, the US tech, the US 30, gold, and silver. But on the Russell 2000, we have an opportunity wherein that the CUD report and the net position for the previous week have aligned perfectly, and we have the go ahead to get into this trade. We're expecting at least a retracement to the peak formation, as you can see here, and at least a little bit of a bounce, and then we can go all the way upside around 2675 as a psychological level for entry. So that is the outlook of what we're expecting price to do for the new week. That's it, everyone. Join us again next week for another chart analysis. Also, subscribe to get notified every time I drop a video like this. Peace.